Hmm, interesting. Well, good morning, guys. The camera seems to be kind of all messed up this morning. Let me give it a try here, fix it. Interesting. Well, good morning. Hold on, I'm going to fix this up right now. Give me a second. Let's see, does it work? Does it fix it? No, I don't think it did. That's okay. We'll just rock and roll with the black screen for today. No worries. No video. All right. Well, guys, there's a couple stocks I'm going to be watching today. So the first stock that is going to be on my watch list here today is going to be Roku. All right, so Roku is the #1 stock that I'm keeping my eye on here this morning. As you can see, yesterday Roku kind of hit highs of $67, $67.43, hit highs. Had, this kind of like arguably a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern, a little offset one. Rolls over to the downside, so we're definitely following this short, as you guys are aware. Roku shot up. If you actually look, Roku is up, let's see, probably like 100 and some odd percent from 26 to a high of 67. It's up 154% over the past 2 months. Everybody's calling it a long, which it has been a great long, but I've been kind of on the opposite side calling for a short after it's been running up. I figured we'd have our earnings day run and then we have another attempt for continuation after the earnings day. Well, we've put in an extreme doji candle here right at the high, barely closing green on the day yesterday for Roku. Now, opening up a little bit red here on the day. So going to definitely be following Roku short today, tomorrow, and the next day. I think Roku has a lot of room it could give back to the downside. As I was saying, like, look at this big, massive push, big, massive earnings day. So there's a lot of room to come down. So I think we could see Roku down to, 50, 59, 55, 54 possibly over the course of the next couple days. So definitely going to be following Roku short. What's good morning, guys? What's going on? Definitely going to be following Roku short buys today. So an important level to really watch is going to be within this consolidation zone of yesterday. You kind of see this, basically I'll just mark it off. Ready? That whole zone. Every single red thing I just put on the light, that's a zone to pay attention for. Yesterday's kind of consolidation, then the breakout level, and then the dip level where it was holding support right there. That's all areas that I'm going to be watching for to get short on Roku. So if Roku pops up today, probably going to be looking to get short in at around the $65 area. All right. Good morning, guys. Yeah, so there's bottom of the line, there's a lot of room Roku could come down. So I'm playing on the downside right now. Going to be looking to get short up into this resistance around 65, 65.20s, right in that area, okay? Next one here on the list is going to be Etsy. So Etsy had earnings. For right now, I'm definitely bullish on the stock to see it spike up, come crashing back down, then to spike back up, and then regain its pre-market high level. To me, that seems like a pretty bullish movement. Right now, Etsy is also into a new 52-week high by a pretty significant amount, Previous 52-week high was 60.64. We're up to 66.60s, high. So I think nonetheless, I'm going to be bullish on Etsy today until it tells me otherwise. If Etsy starts to come down, then maybe I'll play it short. But for right now, I like to be long on Etsy. I think it's got potential to be a good long. We're into a 52-week high. We could have a nice run. So definitely going to be following Etsy for the break over this kind of downward trend line resistance, seeing how it acts here pre-market, but really like the way Etsy is starting to perform here pre-market for the long bias trade, okay? I think STMP has room to grow to the upside. I'm holding 25 shares long. I really don't plan on selling them unless I get stopped out or go negative or, so I'll pull up, have a little bit of heartburn. I'll pull up STMP here in just a second. Okay, so Etsy, another earnings play today, and then HTZ is another earnings play today. You know, big push to the upside from, 19 to 22, kind of fading a little bit down here. Going to be watching this one for a long bias trade as well. If you look at HTZ, the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that every time, let me do it like this. Well, let me go to the yearly chart first. Every time we have an earnings rate on HTZ, like look at the last couple earnings, right? This earnings day, it pushes up, it had a green day, and then it kind of faded off next couple days. One before that, HTZ pushed up, had a really good green day, then it kind of pulled back, then it went higher. So it appears that usually on the days where HTZ has earnings, it has continuation on the day in the direction it gaps in. So if history repeats itself, we should see HTZ increase on the day based on previous history of all the past earnings, in which it will usually gap up or gap down, and then it trades successfully in the direction that it gapped up or down, right? So nonetheless, we'll probably be watching HTZ long today. This was the push here. It's starting to hold pre-market right in this level. So this is all, relatively looking pretty good. Going to be watching HTZ long today. Oh, man. Ugh. Okay, so now that we've kind of covered those couple, we'll take a look at STMP, look at BILI. Did BILI... Oh yeah, BILI has earnings coming up. I'll just wait until BILI has earnings and then go about trading that one. It's got earnings coming up in like a day or so or 2 days. STMP, as you can see, I'm currently long on it, 25 shares, up $179. Now, my entry on it was like right here. My first trade on it was right there, which I botched like an idiot, but second trade's right here. So my average price is in at about 97, which is okay. Or is it? No, 91, which is okay. It would have been much better if it was down here like it should have been, but I sometimes suck at my job, so why not? Anywho, STMP not looking bad. I don't know, right? Look at the chart. Do you think it has room to increase? I don't know, a stock loses over $100 a share in a day. I personally think it has room to increase, and that's why I'm still holding long right now. I do see further gains on it, whether that's today, I don't know, whether it's tomorrow, could be. But I do see further increase on STMP. I will be following it long biased again today. So something to take note on. We'll be following STMP long bias again today, as I was long on it yesterday. It closed very strong. It's holding pre-market, not really selling off. So I think it's wise to keep it on watch for a long today as well, considering it dropped over $100. It's up and over its red candle day from its earnings day, so that's a bullish outlook on it. So nonetheless, I'm pretty bullish on the stock STMP, and I think other people should be as well. Okay. Thank you, little Mistro. I know. The goat. Can you take a look at IIPR? Yes, I will. Yep. So this is not something that I would trade personally because it's an extremely low volume trading stock. If this is something you want to trade, your best bet is to trade it in terms of swing trading. Wow. Yeah. So it's a great trending stock. It's just not something that I would probably day trade. And if you're looking at it right now, your best bet is to not buy it. You want to let this pull back. It's overextended. It's in the expansion of its move. It's in the impulsive wave of a move. This means it needs to pull back, show consolidation, and that's when you'd want to buy. If you look at anything from the past, you would know that whenever it shoots up, it pulls back. It shoots up, it pulls back. It's been shooting up and then it pulled back. It just shot up, it will most likely pull back. So you're not at a good buy level with that stock. M had earnings today. Macy's? What is going on? I must have this all off. I thought Macy's was tomorrow. I don't know what's going on. But anywhozer, yeah, Macy's, I mean, earnings, gapped. Down. It's kind of hard to tell because it's kind of just back and forth, but you know, so far this market, it's kind of trending down, so that's probably the way I go. Looks like a descending triangle pattern right now. The only thing that doesn't really make it a descending triangle is the fact that it had this long dip down here that doesn't really cause for a descending, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, anyways. With Macy's, let's see, what's this yearly chart look like? 180 day, 24, 3 year, 24, 27, okay. So, yep, Macy's has room to drop. Its 3-year low is going to be down at about $17. You have this blip back here in the year of, was that 2000, was this 18? Yeah, so back in the beginning of 2018, probably January, February of 2018, we had this small little blip / pullback down here at about the $24 price. So Macy's has really been trying to defend that level for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, and with this earnings, it might be what it's looking for to push it below that support level. So I think with the way it's trading, I think Macy's might give in today, and we could see, you know, somewhat of a sell-off, panic sell on Macy's. You know, that might bring it down to, you know, 22.50 down towards 21 on the day. Okay. Oh, yep. Home Depot had earnings. You could probably look to short that. When I looked, Home Depot didn't have all that much volume pre-market, but is gonna just slowly drop into that side. So yeah, you could probably, and it's kind of at like the high of this move. What's a daily chart? So that doesn't really help me. Yeah, your first line of defense for Home Depot to the downside is 182.69. If it breaks 182.69, it will mostly decrease all the way down to about 180, maybe 179 on the day. That would bring it to its most recent bullish pennant breakout level. So you're probably looking at Home Depot, if it continues this path, you'll probably see it down to about 180 today. If it broke 180, I'd kind of be surprised. Of course it can, but it's already moved from like 192 to 183, so down there'd be about a 10-point, 12-point move on the day. That's most likely well above its average true range. All we got to do is look back on the yearly chart at its previous earnings days and see what the average true range is of its earnings day. So right here, its earnings day was 172 to a high of 181, so it's about a 10, almost 11-point day. Come over to the next earnings day on this stock. Where are we at right here? And this was from 191 to 196. So that was a slow earnings day for them that time. Yeah, so I'd say Home Depot is getting pretty close to moving its average true range of its earnings report day. So I'd say Home Depot down to about 180 on the day. That's only 3 more. Yeah, maybe 180, 179 area. Yeah, Tesla is in the news again. Elon Musk, something about the SEC, tweets this, tweets that. Anyways, just more bad news. Personally, I would just let this bad news settle, let Tesla get a little lower, than buy the dip on Tesla. Thank you, Mr. B Custom. I appreciate that, brother. No. Hazel Navarez, the reason you couldn't get your, excuse me, I'm yawning. The reason you couldn't get your order through pre-market or during the after-hours session on Thinkorswim is most likely because your order was not just not done right. I mean, honestly, just put it simply, your order was done incorrectly. If you're on Thinkorswim, you do have the capabilities of buying in after-hours trading. Actually, just look at my screen real fast. Where my cursor is, follow my cursor, the magic cursor. Right here, you see where it says TIF? You're going to have to add that to your chart. So you go to active trader window, then you come up here to the gear icon, and then you go to this, and then you're going to type in TIF, and then you're going to go TIF, add items, okay, and then you'll have TIF, and then you're going to go to TIF, GTC_EXT, and now your order will be classified to go through extended trading hours, and that's most likely why your order did not go through. No. I'm not in Colorado. I will be Colorado Wednesday. I was going to use the GoPro for streaming today that I used yesterday, but, you know, I don't know. It decided to not work. But, you know, it's not surprising. If you go look at GoPro's share price, it's getting beaten to hell. And that's most likely why, because the products that they're obviously making are just shit. So that's most likely the reason. Yep. Am I paper trading cold signals? No, I have not paper traded in probably 3 years, 4 years. Probably been a long time. Safe trade. No, yeah, I'm going to Colorado Wednesday, but we should still be on. I may or may not be on. We'll see. Am I a millionaire? No, I am not a millionaire, unfortunately for me. I was answering the other guy. How is the mobile trading setup? The mobile trading setup is fantastic. I use an Acer Predator computer with two Acer portable monitors. Works perfect. I was actually going to do a video about it so you guys can see that too. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I will be getting off here. I'm going to get back to the private group. So again, I don't know why the video wasn't working. Stupid. But anyways, we're going to be watching HTZ today, potentially long, Etsy, hopefully long, and then the other earnings play was there? Oh, no, then it's just Roku short. Yeah, day trading options on the SPY is viable. You saw 2 different prices on my website. Yeah, that's probably correct, though. I'm pretty sure everything on our website's correct. No problem. What moving averages do I use? Get a pencil, get a paper, real fast. 9, 20, 50, 100, 200 EMAs, not SMAs. I would assume KHC will probably have some type of retracement. When, how much, that I couldn't answer for sure, but I would say it probably will have some type of retracement move. Your best bet to figure out whether KHC will actually come back is you're going to want to check the market price of the stock, compare it to their price to book ratio, and then you'll be able to decide whether or not KHC is actually a good deal, fair value, or undervalued, or overvalued. No problem. I hope I make millions a day. I do have some, yeah, I am long gold, I'm long silver, yes. Those are specifically, like, not in my trading accounts, but I have, in one of my accounts, one of my own accounts, I am long silver, and that's it. And then the other 2 retirement accounts, I believe at this point, are both long precious metals, and then various ETFs and various bonds right now. Future of natural gas. The future of natural gas looks like this. Millions, I don't even know how many people, use natural gas, but natural gas is going nowhere. People use natural gas all the time. You will probably see price fluctuations in natural gas over the next course of the year, up and down, back and forth, up and down, unless we have some crazy dramatic scarcity of natural gas, or unless somehow, some way, every single 18-year-old kid moves out of their parents' house tomorrow, buys their own house, and starts paying for their own gas. Natural gas will probably just trade like normal. I don't personally trade natural gas, but the best thing you can do in a situation like that, if natural gas is ever going to go through a big boom, it's going to be when there's a scarcity of natural gas. It's going to be when we have extremely cold weathers nationwide. If there was an extreme amount of new houses built, every single 18-year-old kid moved out of their parents' house and started paying DTE, Consumers Energy, or some type of gas company, and then gas prices would increase because the demand would be so high, which then would affect the supply. That's a scenario that could play in fact. But what you want to do is you're going to want to follow your natural gas futures. So like, I think it's /NG or whatever it is. I don't follow them. But you want to follow your natural gas futures. That's what's going to allow you to trade UGAS or DGAS more efficiently and effectively. Is Wayfair like Tilray? Wayfair is absolutely nothing like Tilray. Tilray is a marijuana cannabis company, while Wayfair is like a furniture manufacturing, maybe selling of furniture company. So, yeah, no, not even close. Wayfair's been been around for a long time, so not the same. Thank you, Lil Maestro. Thank you. Nope, I covered up short Netflix because it broke over the previous high that I was in, so I covered up that short. Still watching it short, but just not currently in short on it. I think I lost like 80 bucks or something like that. Fiat Chrysler, I wish I knew more, but I haven't looked at FCAU in like a decade. I can't personally speak for LPP, Learn Plan Profit, which Ricky Gutierrez runs, because I've never personally taken the course. I could give my opinion on it, but of course that would be biased. So your best bet is honestly to get the answers from any members in this chat room or our chat room, or basically online, somewhere that have taken it. IQ's that Chinese-based company that's supposed to be a streaming service that's similar to Netflix. That's why IQ picked up in so much hype. We'll call it last year. Beginning of last year, IQ picked up in a lot of hype, had a really good run for, X amount of time, because there was a lot of news getting pumped around that IQ was the Netflix of China and blah, blah, blah. I think they have earnings coming up. I can't remember. Or did they have earnings? I'm not quite sure. But it's something to pay attention to. I think it's a company that's worth paying attention to. I just can't remember if they had earnings or not. No. Or yeah, they did. They did have earnings. I would personally let this earnings settle, let the sell-off continue, and then I would probably start to follow the stock long bias. You can see it's obviously trending up. So that's probably what I would do. All right, I'll do this last one, FTNW, and then I got to rock and roll. FTNW for Mr. Brooks. FTNW, all right. This won't be very hard. All right, Mr. Brooks, this is FTNW. If you look, I am focusing on a yearly chart here. What we notice here from this past year is that FTNW has been on a very, very steady decline in price action, and it hasn't had any reversal, right? There's been no point where the stock has started to reverse. So ideally what you would be looking for in a situation like this is you want to see the price action completely flatline. Right now it's declining. You want to see it flatline and start to push up and create like a higher low scenario. So it would look something like this. You'd want to see it kind of flatline, and then you'd want it to push up, pull back, and then create a higher low like this, and then we could say that the stock has now started trending up. That's kind of what you're looking for in a situation like this, but for right now, it's a declining stock, and I would be very hesitant to trading this right now. This is probably not your best bet. Yeah, I probably would steer in the other direction of this one. All right. How are ETFs? God, these are so many good questions. I need to get back to the private group, but this is a great question. How are ETFs? Wait, where'd that question go? Where'd it go? I was just reading it. Oh, there it is. How are ETFs harder for beginners? So I don't know where you heard that, but I can teach you something, and that is, maybe ETFs are harder for some people to trade than others. I couldn't speak for everyone. But what most people, and I can honestly tell you this, what probably nobody knows, what most people don't understand about ETFs is ETFs were designed for a few reasons, one of which was like, easy investing, kind of like diversification, because ETFs can change or are comprised of a lot of different stocks, right? If you go look at like what an ETF is made up of, you will see it's all sort. Like if you actually go into a specific ETF and look at everything that is built within an ETF, it will be Nike and Facebook and Google share and this share and that share, just all sorts of shit, tons of stuff. And what people don't understand is ETFs are actually recalculated every night. They have an equation system that recalculates the price of the ETF every night. So, for example, you could say an ETF is trending up. Well, great, but your ETF will be recalculated the next day. So you actually don't know what price it will start at or open up at unless you actually do the mathematics yourself, or you let it just recalculate in the morning. And this is why it actually becomes pretty risky to hold ETFs, because they are recalculated every single night. So your technical analysis can be completely thrown off by just at least some, because your prices are getting recalculated every night, not even based on buying or selling. Understand that. It's not even based on who's buying right now that recalculates that price. I would have to freshen up a little bit on that. I don't know the equation for sure. But yeah, that's kind of a thing. A lot of people will hold ETFs and they'll lose money because they get recalculated. And I want to say, but I have to double check, I think another reason why you will tend to see ETFs slowly decline over time, people call it the decay behind an ETF, when in reality it's not necessarily the decay. And I do see, thank you, ice cream lady, I appreciate it, thank you so much. And I will say this, I'll have to double check, maybe I'll make a video on it, but I'm pretty sure the fact that everyone calls the ETF decay, which is kind of true, it's not even necessarily decay, right? You have to think that if these ETFs are made up of hundreds of different stocks, right, the transactions that go into these ETFs have to cost the owners, right, the shareholders of those ETFs. If I own that ETF and that ETF every single day is moving different shares of different stocks, there's going to be a price for that commission of buying those different shares in those different stocks, and that has to be calculated into the price of the ETF. So if your ETF slowly decreases over time, it's probably due to the fact that it's that ETF, it's the cost of running that ETF. To have all those different shares within that ETF combined, it's going to cost money and operating cost for that ETF, right? Because you're not buying a stock, right? If you buy a stock, the stock is the stock. If it's Google stock, it's Google stock. Whatever Google's company valuation is what your share is going to be. But when you have an ETF, and an ETF has a share of Google, share of Facebook, share of Amazon, and then it gets rid of a share of Google, or it buys more Google, or it buys more Amazon, sells more Amazon, those are operating costs that need to be calculated into that ETF. And that's why you will be seeing those prices decrease the way they do, or that leverage decay, or however you want to call it. Okay. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys again for tuning in. I do got to run. I will see you guys. I think I will be on tomorrow. I leave for Colorado tomorrow, but I think I'll have enough time to hop on and do a little pre-market watches for you guys. All right. With that being said, I will be back on tomorrow, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.